What's up and welcome back to a brand new vlog. It's been a couple of weeks since your boy hopped on the tripod the last time, but I promise you it has been for the better. I've been dialed in. I've been working on mobile apps, ads, my e-commerce store, my new education company. It's not this kind of scam education by my course. It's a chainsaw education company, so an actual physical business. We're having our second course next week. I'll see if I can document some of that. And I'm also working on various different other projects. I have a rope bag company, for example. I have an arborist gear e-commerce, and I built some random web apps as well. So a lot of stuff has been going on, and I will be updating you throughout this video. However, now it is 1 p.m, which means that I've been in this office. No, it's 1 a.m. I have been in this office since like 11 this morning. I took some time to go to the gym and do some other stuff, but we're in a 13-hour workday here, setting up ads for all of my different apps and also doing a couple of other optimizations for some of these mobile apps as well as some of these web apps. So without going into anything else, we're going to be diving in a lot of these things throughout this video, and I'll be talking through some other tips and tricks that I've learned over the past weeks. For example, how to use Perplexity Computer in order to generate TikTok organic content automatically on loop at a very cheap cost, which is driving me trials to some of my mobile apps. And I'll also show you this new web app that I built. Definitely go check it out. You can find it at frontframe.io. It's a way to generate App Store screenshots simply by prompting. So think of it like Figma or Canva, but instead of you having to design stuff, you just prompt it and then you can translate to the various. But without further ado, let's get ourselves into the video. I'm gonna get myself to bed first, so we're gonna start this tomorrow, Sunday morning, as you've just seen all these progress videos from throughout the day. So let's get into it.
You wanna get with me, stop. Yeah.
Alright, it is morning time. We're getting started a little bit later than usual this morning because we were up quite late working, etc. yesterday. Now, I have two apps. One that's called Dose Down. That's also one that I've released in the last couple of weeks. It's for people who are coming off antidepressants. So they're taking one of these antidepressant drugs, and then they, instead of just quitting cold turkey, they gotta taper off. So it's an app for keeping track of that taper essentially. And then I have Pouch Quit, which is pretty much a similar app but for coming off nicotine pouches. You know, these little Swedish snus things that you take, you put it under your lip and it infuses you with nicotine. They have TikTok accounts. They're not doing incredibly well, but they're getting like, 1,000 views per video, as you can see there. And I have a bot on Perplexity Computer that literally does this pretty much automatically for me. So here's the TikTok account. The way it works is that I will go to Perplexity, I will say I have this skill that I've loaded, and I will say run this again. And then what this will literally do is that it will loop through a couple of different things. So here you can see some of its other output. It will use a Gemini key in order to generate slides, and then from there it will post them to TikTok through Post This, where they will land here. So now I'm going to show you just a sample that I did before. If you use 10 pouches, you see? So it makes quite nice, TikTok slides, where then it mentions the app towards the end and with a little CTA. And then I always just go in and I take a hot sound because it can't do that by itself. We take that one, post. Literally, it's that simple. So obviously I started with this like a week ago, so it's not incredibly good. Some posts are 1,000, some posts are, a couple of hundred views. But it's definitely driving some traffic. And then I'm doing the exact same thing for this other app, which I just started like 2 days ago. It's not working as well yet, but yeah, that's how it's done. So the output isn't like massively incredible, but it is pretty good, and it's good enough to a point where you can automate this spend. I think it's probably like 5 cents or so per post that it makes. Maybe it's a little bit more, 50 minutes, something like that. It's an insignificant amount per post in order to get as many of those out there. I try to do 2 or 3 per day, but actually now we're gonna go outside a little bit, and then I'm gonna hop on the computer and actually show you how the skill is set up and also how you can replicate it.
It's just calling my phone like I'm locked up non-stop. From the plane to the helicopter, yeah. Cops pulling up like I'm giving drugs. Nah. I'm a pop star, not a doctor. Hey.
And I quite literally picked up the camera for today. We're just about to leave the store here, and I'm gonna give you just a quick view. If you're new to this channel, one of the businesses that I run, and now that Misha will be kind of taking over as we continue scaling some of the software stuff, is Arboristbutiken. As you can see, it's a warehouse type of thing where we sell climbing gear for arborists. Arborists are people who climb trees. They take care of various different parts of the city, city trees, forest trees, private garden trees, etc, etc. So this is stuff that we sell. We pack these orders. That's what you saw today. If you're new to this channel, maybe you haven't seen this before, this is one of the best additions we've had to the store so far. They're energy drinks, Latitude. It's not sponsored, but it is a business expense indeed. Quite dark in here, but I can really recommend that specific energy drink. It's incredible. Get the cactus one, it's wild. But we're gonna pack up the shop here, and tomorrow I'm gonna show you a little bit more detail into the order packing and everything that goes on there. And I'm also going to be in the morning going to this new course company or educational company that we're hosting, where we're hosting chainsaw courses. So I'm gonna give you a little bit of preview for that. But tonight we're going to do some more coding, go to the gym hopefully, and cook some chicken. So let's head out of here. Cops pulling up like I'm giving drugs. Alright, so I did say I was going to demonstrate how I do this setup where I post automatically to TikTok. There will be a link down below that you can use to actually get this skill file that I'm using. I do believe that it will work for Claude as well, but it's made for Perplexity Computer. So Perplexity Computer is relatively new, came out February 25th, and what it is, essentially it is a computer that runs in the cloud, or obviously it doesn't run in the cloud, but you get access through it through the cloud, and you're able to then use it like you would a normal computer, in that it has a state in and of itself where it's not dependent on your computer being open and running for it to execute tasks. So you can tell it through your phone, for example, do this, execute this task, and it will do it. So what I use it for, one of those apps is PouchQuit. This PouchQuit has just hit, or it's been relatively stable here for the last 28 days, as you can see, but it's around $400 MRR, so definitely not one of my better apps, but it's more of a consumer app, and it's fun because I'm experimenting with this type of stuff. And this is what I did earlier in the video when I clicked please run this automation for both PouchQuit and Dosedown. Dosedown being my other app that I will show you here. Looks like this. This app is brand new, and this is the one that it made this morning when I showed you how I was using this. To do this, you need to first of all be using this app. I will be leaving a link down below to this as well. It will then come into a dashboard that looks like this, where you're able to see all of your social channels, for example. These are the ones that I have connected now and that I have actually up and running with this automation. After this, you need to go to your account settings down here, and you need to fetch an API key. Then we get into Perplexity Computer, and here are some of the skills that I'm using. So we have PouchQuit TikTok, we have Dosedown TikTok, for example. And these are skills, these are MD files, as you can see there. I won't scroll down anymore because then you'll be able to see my API keys, but it's a skill file that you use in order to actually start posting this type of stuff in a token efficient way. So what it then does is that I will go into my tasks here on Perplexity Computer, and if we have this TikTok skills, you can see this is what it starts to generate. I just ran this today. It will go through all of this. It will generate the pictures using a Gemini API key that it has access to. It will then go ahead and it will store these. It will use, I have passed it previously, I have passed it references that it's able to use, such as, for example, if we go back to this one, all of the references to the app, it actually superimposes the screenshot of the app onto an actual phone with an actual hand to make it seem a little bit more realistic. Essentially, there's not that much to show because most of this is, or pretty much all of it, once it's done, is executed through a Perplexity Computer, and then it will just put this up and you'll be able to hop into TikTok and you'll be able to post this draft by adding music to it. So there will be more content to it down below. There's a little bit of a web page with an instruction on how to do it, and there's also a file, this skill MD file, that you can upload into your Perplexity Computer or your Claude in order for it to be able to learn this skill. You need Postis, which will be linked down below, and you need the Gemini API key, which isn't too difficult to set up. 11 o'clock on a Monday evening. We are just about finishing off in the office, but working on a couple of different things. Some stuff for mobile launch, which I've now made free. So if anyone needs to or wants to build a mobile app, it's now free to use my boilerplate template mobile launch that quite a few people actually have used in order to launch their mobile apps. Now we're gonna show you something completely different and unrelated to programming, and I'm about to lose my retention completely here, but I've nerded down a little bit and I've kind of started buying some Pokemon cards. So I've got the, you know, they're no fancy or expensive ones, but kind of a little bit of a collection going on. Some there, we got some more over there,
Not really worth anything, probably like $100 in total, unless I get them graded. Then my girlfriend and I are going to the US in like a week, and it was time to get some new shoes. So Year of the Horse Nike Dunks. You didn't know, your boy grew up in China, so we gotta represent with that Year of the Horse stuff. But today, just to walk you through what I've worked on today, I started off working in Arbeidsbutikken. Then in Arbeidsbutikken I also worked a little bit on Arbeidstur Academy, which is the course that we're gonna be going to tomorrow. I shipped out some POV bag sponsorships for Arborfest, which is part of why we're going to the US. So that's already during the day, 3 businesses. Then I came home and I worked on ArbSafe, which is an app for arborists in order to conduct risk assessments, etc. of their sites that they're on. I then worked a little bit on my newsletter funnel. After that, I worked a little bit on mobile launch in and of itself, just to make sure that it's free and make sure that it's up and working for everyone. Then I did some stuff in App Store Connect for some of the mobile apps that I run ads for. I just started that this weekend, as you saw, in order to optimize them just after these first few days of conversion. So a lot of stuff there, but in some ways, one, it's negative to be doing all this stuff because you're too spread out, you're too spread thin to really be doing anything really well. But on the other hand, which is kind of the side of it that I believe in more, is that you spread out your surface to luck area. And the more stuff you do, the larger the surface area that you have for something that is potentially be good, for something that is for all this to be potentially big. And once you do that, if you're lucky, which is one of these things, they could be monumental change as to how you approach business building, but also it could be monumental change as to how much money, for example, that generates for you, or how much fun you have as it starts to grow and you realize that you like doing that particular part. So quite interesting. You've seen me do retail, you've seen me do some software, and then tomorrow morning we're going to be going to one of my newest businesses, which is a chainsaw education course. It's quite random and quite niche, but it's a course where people learn how to use and operate chainsaws. And I've kind of not really viewing this as a business in and of itself, but rather as part of the funnel for Arbeidsbutikken, which is this other retail business that I run, that you saw me in today. So it's 11 o'clock, we're gonna head to bed, and then I'll see you early in the morning.
Jumpin', them boys up to something. They just spent like 2 or 3 weeks out the country.
We started the day off with some driving and going out to the course that we're making. Now we are working on some translations for one of the courses that I have. So I have this course called Tree Nerd Academy, which is a study tool for the ISA arborist exam, so for people that want to become arborists. And yeah, I'm just translating that to Spanish because we're gonna make a Spanish version. This, if you like tech, you're gonna like this. So here's the farm, that one's broken. That's this little 3D print farm where we make these, and I'm meant to get 3,000 out, and as you can see here I'm kind of crossing them off as we go. I'm meant to get 3,000 out and then I sell them. I've realized that I make no money pretty much whatsoever from that. I sell 3,000 and I sell them for like 0.4 cents each. So I mean, yeah, it turns out to be a little bit, but it's not significant given how much time it actually takes to day in and day out add and remove those plates of filament, but it is what it is. Now we're gonna close off shop here. Been a lot of video here in Arbeidsbutikken over the last couple of days, but we're going to go home and we're going to go to the gym, but we're also going to spend some time on these translations. Now, if you look now, it's starting to get light outside in Sweden. This is the time of the year when Swedes come alive, because we live in this dark winter period. And then all of a sudden, boom, spring hits, it's April, the weather gets nice and good, and then everyone's like, you know, reignited, their will to live re-emerges after they've been locked away during the winter, you know?
Jumpin', metro booming on production, wow. 100 cousins out in Memphis, they so country, wow. Tell her stay the night, valet your car, come fuck me now. Jumpin', live on TNT, I'm flexing, ooh. Jumpin', they gave me my own.
Alright, weird vlog this time. So we're coming towards the end of the vlog. It's been a little bit of a weird one. I try to get back into vlogging. Kind of struggling with it a little bit because I do the same type of stuff and I struggle bringing this big ass camera with me everywhere. So I'm gonna try to start using the DJI Osmo Pocket a little bit more. Just because of the portability. But this week I've started working on a Spanish version of Tree Nerd Academy. Tree Nerd Academy is my educational platform for studying for the ISA Certified Arborist. So I'm going to show you just an example.
En el pasado, el cuidado de los árboles se centraba mucho en soluciones rápidas. Se rociaban pesticidas de amplio espectro.
So, pretty good way to just dub stuff and just localize products. Something that I believe in truly this year is localizing products. You know, if you have a product that does well in English,
translate it to French, translate it to Swedish, translate it to Spanish, for example, which is what we're doing here. So I'll keep you updated in the next vlog on how that goes. It's currently almost 1 o'clock in the morning and your boy is going to the US in a day and a half, so I have a bunch of stuff to get done before then. I have to clean, I have to sell this apartment because we're gonna get pictures of this apartment because we're gonna sell it once we come back, and a bunch of other stuff. But yeah, a little bit of a messy vlog, apologies for that. We'll be back in the future with some more cool stuff coming from the US. But with that said, thank you so much for watching. Peace.
Hey. Yeah.